In the world of boxing, few names stir up as much debate and adoration as Terence "Bud" Crawford. The question for this video is simple, but impossible to ignore. Does he belong on boxing's Mount Rushmore? From Omaha, Nebraska, Crawford has carved a career that commands attention.
Now, three-punch combination and a knees wobble. Crawford on top of him now, trying to finish the deal. Right to the body, right to the head, down he goes, that's it, it's over.
His string of wins is undeniable, and his expanding ability is elite. But this isn't just the story of a fighter who's climbed the ranks. It's a tale of a man forcing us to ask whether his achievements, both inside the ropes and beyond them, have already been carved into history, or if his greatest chapters are still to come.
7 knockouts in his career. Do we have 28 right here?
This fight is also
thundering in. Look at Crawford. Vicious attack to close it.
Terence Crawford has held world titles in 5 weight classes, from 135 to 168. And he's been undisputed in 3 of them.
Coming forward and firing at Crawford for the moment. There's the overhand right, and another combination! Beautiful work by Crawford!
Which is a feat no other male fighter has ever accomplished. However, to honestly assess Crawford's pound-for-pound reign, we need to examine the caliber of his opposition and figure out whether he faced elite challenges or comparatively easier tests. Because dominators in the Mount Rushmore conversation, like Ali, Sugar Ray, even Mayweather, Tyson, Usyk, they built their legacies by consistently taking on and defeating the very best of their era. In Crawford's first title fight against Alejandro Sanabria for the vacant WBO NABO lightweight title, he dispatched the 34 1-1 veteran with a 6-round TKO.
Of 219, respectable.
While it's possible, and extremely likely, that Crawford was simply that much superior, Sanabria never fought again after his loss to Crawford, and left the legacy of a seasoned gatekeeper. Then, Crawford nabbed his first major title against the 36 2-1 Ricky Burns in Glasgow. Bud picked the Scotsman apart, like prey under a hawk's shadow for 12 rounds.
A nice fake with the eyes there. That was really clever, that from Crawford, and he's got him in trouble here.
I wonder if Ricky has confidence in his chin the way he covers up like that.
Burns, a former world champion, never returned to elite form. Since facing Crawford, he hasn't fought a top-tier opponent, and as of 2023, he hasn't stepped in the ring at all, leaving his post-Crawford career defined mainly by obscurity. The Modern Martial Artist is switching to YouTube memberships, putting all of our exclusive perks in one place for our most important sponsor, you. We need your support to continue creating content about the sports we love, and that's why we're excited to offer even more through YouTube memberships. The team is bringing you early video access and 2 exclusives each month. To start, we've got the growth of BKFC and a close look at Khamzat's dominating style. So, if you like what we do and want to see more, become a channel member today. Even the 23-0 Olympic gold medalist, Yuriorkis Gamboa, couldn't withstand Crawford. He went down in round 9.
Straighten up the right leg of Gamboa. He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time. Seconds, he's back at him. Gamboa's totally out on his feet. Can Crawford catch him one more time? There's no quitting Gamboa. He keeps battling, falling forward. Uppercut, drops him again. It's all over.
Afterwards, Gamboa stepped up against other high-level competitors, like Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, and Pitbull Cruz. Each time, they defeated him without needing to adjust their A-game. And for Crawford, Gamboa isn't an outlier. Bud's track record against other respected names tells a similar story. Jeff Horn was fresh off a competitive fight and win over Manny Pacquiao, and Crawford hunted and dismantled him like the true king of the jungle.
Horn said, "I'll test his soul." I think it's quite the opposite. I think that Crawford is testing Horn's soul.
He's pushing him around. You can see that redness above the right eye as he sends back Horn. Crawford's in control here in round 5.
Then there was Amir Khan, an Olympic silver medalist and former world champion who owns notable wins over the likes of Chris Algieri and Devon Alexander. He also fell to Crawford.
Watch the sweeping backhand of Terence Crawford. He's setting it up.
There it is. And there's a looping right as well. Now southpaw. Can he give an angle? Three-punch combination down in the first round. He's trying to hang in there. Oh, big left hand from Crawford. Uppercut, right hook, switching back and forth from righty to lefty and having success.
And Sean Porter, a two-time welterweight world champion, respected for his wars with top-level talent. He suffered the first stoppage loss of his career to Crawford and retired right after.
Looks good on his feet, but not coming forward and firing at Crawford for the moment. There's the overhand right, and another combination! Beautiful work by Crawford! Magnificent accuracy by the champ! And he's stopping the fight! His father says it's over!
But the story of Crawford's competitive capabilities is perhaps best told through his two signature victories. The first one, where he dismantled an undefeated Errol Spence Jr., dropping Spence multiple times and finishing him in the 9th.
Special fighter. All right, hook upstairs, and Crawford has Spence hurt again. All right, hook that wobbles him. Spence might be going down again, and this one is over.
That earned him the undisputed welterweight championship. And against the 61-2-2 Canelo Alvarez, he dominated every inch of the ring like a general surveying his battlefield for 12 rounds to claim the undisputed super middleweight title. Easily the most consequential win on Canelo's resume thus far. Despite these victories over respected names, we have to ask ourselves, do Crawford's marquee wins erase the pattern of opponents who faded after meeting him? Or are Spence and Canelo the exceptions in an otherwise uneven list of challenges? You can make the case that Crawford simply finishes careers, but another interpretation is that many of those opponents were already past the peak of their powers when they met him. Under a certain lens, their performances against Crawford show more decline than sudden exposure. Age, wear and tear, and career mileage were clearly factors necessary to take into account. One true rising name Crawford beat was Israel Madrimov, and even that victory unfolded like a meticulously plotted chess match, precise and controlled, rather than the sheer, overwhelming stoppages he dealt to veterans. Instead of taking out rising stars before their peak, like Mayweather did with Canelo, Crawford has done the inverse, facing opponents just as they were edging out of their prime, still dangerous, but no longer at their absolute best. Even so, this isn't just opportunism, it's craftsmanship, honed over 17 years. Crawford has climbed weight classes while remaining at the top, turning pro at 20, and at 37, still adding signature wins. His longevity is rare, with adaptability akin to a master chess player, always 3 moves ahead, reshaping the board before his opponent even sees the next threat. And yet, this brilliance complicates the Mount Rushmore argument. Greatness carved in stone demands repeated victories over peers who themselves go on to sustain dominance. Crawford's record is undeniable, notably those wins over Spence and Canelo. However, the question remains, was it built against the absolute peak of his era? And how do the fighters at the pinnacle of his generation compare to those of generations prior? Regardless, Crawford's reign in the ring has been precise, patient, and punishing. But a true legend isn't measured only by what happens inside the ropes. Mount Rushmore status goes beyond your skill, record, and dominance. It's also heavily about influence. Crawford doesn't carry the global celebrity of a Muhammad Ali, nor the social impact, but he does represent the relentless pursuit of greatness. Ahead of Canelo, he demanded fairer terms, rejecting catchweights and hydration clauses that could diminish the accomplishment. He fights for recognition earned in the ring, not manufactured by spectacle. This ambition was forged in Omaha, Nebraska, far from boxing's traditional hotbeds. As a boy, his mother would challenge other kids to fight him, daring them to try to beat her son, and rewarding them with money if they could do it. At the same time, she'd cut him down with words like, "You aren't gonna be shit." What might have bred bitterness instead sparked a relentless fire, a need to prove himself to her, and to prove that greatness can emerge from the most overlooked places. And that fire defined more than just his capabilities in the ring. It also defined his character. Crawford is loyal, committed, and hardworking. He keeps his longtime trainer, Brian "Bo Mac" McIntyre, close. He's built a family with his high school sweetheart, and he does his best to stay out of the media fray. With all that said, Mount Rushmore level respect isn't only measured at home. The true test of cultural reach is whether a fighter's name, skills, story, or character resonate beyond the diehard fans across countries and living rooms worldwide. And here, Crawford's story is more complicated. Around the world, Crawford's reputation is respected, but not yet the kind that echoes in every household. Still, moments like the Netflix Canelo fight changed the picture. 41.4 million unique viewers, charts topped in 30 countries. However, most of his previous bouts remained US-centric, meaning that many of those viewers likely tuned in to watch Canelo. His brand partnerships reflect that profile too, strong in America with deals like Everlast, Prime Hydration, but nothing yet with a flashy global exposure that some of his peers present. The real measure now? How far his stock climbs from here, after showing he can headline dark horse events, pull international numbers, and still build beyond his home base. Terence "Bud" Crawford has all the hallmarks of a GOAT. Elite skills, multiple world titles, adaptability across 5 weight classes, and the rare longevity only a handful of fighters achieve. In the ring, his craft, intelligence, and control distinguish him as one of the most complete fighters of his era. He can dismantle competitive opponents, endure the grind, and remain a championship-level threat well into his 30s. Outside the ropes, his story of hard work, loyalty, and determination adds another layer, proving that his greatness isn't just measured in victories, but in character as well. However, greatness, the kind etched into Mount Rushmore, requires more than the brilliance Crawford possesses inside the ring and within his character. It demands repeated victories over top-tier opponents at their peaks, a global presence that transcends borders, and a transformative impact on the sport itself. Crawford has yet to consistently face the era's very best in a way that reshapes legacies. His impact outside the ring remains modest. He isn't generally recognized for anything larger than his own pursuit of greatness, nor has he revolutionized boxing in the way that icons like Mayweather, Ali, or Sugar Ray have. The wins over Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez are monumental, and his longevity and adaptability are rare. However, much of Crawford's resume reflects timing as much as dominance, facing some of his most formidable opponents when their primes were waning. Crawford is exceptional. He's meticulous, relentless, and supremely talented. But Mount Rushmore requires a legacy that reshapes the sport and endures across generations. In that sense, Terence "Bud" Crawford is still writing the chapters that will determine his ultimate place in boxing history. His name is rising, his run undeniable, but whether it will echo among the all-time legends remains to be seen. Do you think that Crawford belongs on boxing's Mount Rushmore? Did we miss anything in breaking down his legacy? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. For the Modern Martial Artist, this has been Coby McKinley, wishing you happy training.